Hello, my name is Samantha Wicks, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, hello, I'm Samantha. What's up? I have been umming and ahhing whether I should upload this video, let alone film this video. This video is actually going to be really different. I'm going to kind of let down a massive wall that I've been keeping up, and I feel as if you guys need to know, not need to know, but I just like, I don't know, you human beings out there who actually, you know, sit down and watch my videos, you know, you guys are amazing. Like, I love you guys so much. You guys are like practically my second family in a way. Some of you guys have sent me messages on social media or even written me letters and, you know, like explaining what has gone on in your life and like really opening up to me and like telling me just like how much I help you through things, and that really means a lot. I always get messages from you guys saying like, you know, how do I overcome depression, or how do I stand up to bullying, or like how do I deal with stuff that's going on at home. And every time I see those messages, it takes me back to a time in my life that I didn't enjoy. Everyone goes through different things in life, everyone has their different stories, and you know, I kind of want to tell you guys mine. In today's video, if this video ever gets uploaded, I'm going to open up to you guys about my depression and anxiety and experience with alcohol. Please know that I am not doing this for attention at all. I am actually quite nervous about this video. Also keep in mind that I've never really opened up about this stuff in public. I've only really spoken about it to you know, close friends of mine, my boyfriend, my family. I don't think I've ever posted something with my wall down before, so this is going to be really quite intimidating, I guess, and I just hope you guys can respect that. And by the looks of it, it's gonna be quite a long video as it's taken me 20 minutes to film this intro, so I recommend maybe, you know, getting comfy and get some food maybe, because this is a long story. So my story starts back in 2012. When I went to high school, I was lucky enough to be in a group of girls that I was friends with in primary school, and I am still friends with them to this day. I'm not gonna use proper names in this video, I'm gonna use fake names, so let's call my best friend at the time Chelsea. In the group that we were in, we all had a best friend, so my best friend at the time was Chelsea. That year, a girl in my group felt like the outcast, I guess you could say, and she decided to move schools. After she left, I was sitting in a classroom with a friend of mine, and they were saying that she was the most hated girl in our group, which wasn't the case at all, but that's apparently what she had been telling everyone else. And that person was saying stuff like, well, now that she's gone, who's gonna be the most hated girl in your group? Like, there's always that one outcast. And I was kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, is that even a thing? Now, before I get on with the story, I'm a very big overthinker, so I overthink every single little thing, and it like traumatizes me. It is so bad. My overthinking kind of like turns into anxiety in a way. So after this person in my class said that, I kind of was like, well, crap, like what if that's me? And then I was kind of like, well, no, it's not, because you know, we've been friends for so long, like it's all good. Chelsea, my best friend, then starts to hang out with this other girl. I had and still don't have any problem with her making a new friend, but then I started to see on social media that they were hanging out a lot, and you know, they were saying that they were each other's best friends, and I suddenly wasn't the best friend. And then at lunchtimes, I felt as if I was being kind of pushed out of the group. I then started to realize that a lot of the girls in my group started to hang out a lot without me, like they wouldn't invite me out to places. I honestly thought I was the outcast, and I felt as if I was being annoying a lot of the time, and I just kind of kept to myself after a while. Like, I would sit at lunch and they'd all be talking about what they did on the weekend, and I'd just kind of be sitting there like, well, what do I talk about? Like, I don't know what to talk about. But before I move any further with this, I am, you know, still friends with these girls to this day. I have nothing against them. Honestly, it was just personally me. So if you girls are watching this, which I'm sure you guys are, just please do not take any hate or anything towards this. I still love you all. So because I was like kind of in that group of girls ever since I got to high school, I never really made friends with other girls or guys in the grade. And I just kind of was like, well, crap, like, who do I hang out with now? So I literally had in my head constantly that I was like hated, and that I was annoying, and that I was just not liked, I guess. That year I was in a class with a girl, let's call her Amanda. Amanda and I had gotten really close over the year, and I would go to her for advice about everything, and like, you know, ask her what I should do to be a better friend to these girls. And you know, by the end of the year, we kind of just clicked, I guess. So then over the summer holidays, I then became really good friends with Amanda. We became best friends, in fact, and we hung out all the time. Over the summer holidays, I had actually drifted away from the primary school group, as I heard that they had been saying stuff about me, and I just kind of reacted to it. So I would say stuff and then they eventually heard it, and so it didn't really work out. So Amanda and I were best friends. We did everything together. We went everywhere together. We had classes together. We ate lunch together. We did absolutely everything together. But of course, because us two became so close, we kind of started to block everyone else out. And so when I was away or she was away, the other one was just kind of like, well, who do I hang out with? Does that make sense? Because we didn't really have anyone else to hang out with, I started to become friends with this other group of people. After a while, I started seeing this guy. We only dated for a month, and to be honest, I don't really count it as my first relationship. Like, my first relationship is the current one I'm in now. It was the most toxic relationship I've ever been in my life, and you know, I'm so happy that I got out of there, because if I was still in that relationship, who knows what state I would be in. It was so toxic that I couldn't do anything without him getting mad. Like, we'd probably fight twice a day. Because of the toxic relationship, I'm so frightened to disappoint people. Like with Jordan, I'm so frightened to disappoint him. I feel as if I have to be the one who's sorry all the time, because that's what the case was with him. Like, he would never be in the wrong, I was always in the wrong, and so whenever I do like the tiniest thing wrong, whether it's just like I dropped a pencil, I have to be sorry for it, and I'll feel bad if I don't say sorry. And I panic because I feel as if I'm gonna lose you because I dropped this pencil. Like, you don't want to be my friend anymore. Like, that's how I feel. Obviously, I don't speak to this person anymore. Like, I don't see why I would want such a toxic person in my life. After we ended, there were rumors going around saying that he had used me for sex when I was a virgin. So, you know, all of these people were going around school saying that I was a slut when I hadn't had sex, let alone do anything else. I was personally terrified of doing anything like that. So just having people going around the school saying that I'd done all these things when I hadn't was just like mind-blowing. So because of him, my reputation at school started to go around as being a slut and being easy, which wasn't the case at all. At the end of that year, my followers on Instagram started to grow and I started to be known as this Instagram girl. And then so over that summer holidays, I was known as a girl who goes to all parties and gets drunk on the weekends, does drugs, and you know, sleeps around. And it was just like, that is not me at all. Like, if you actually knew me, you would know that I actually haven't done any of that. The thing that sucks about all of this is that I was literally being known for things that I didn't do. I was just about to start year 11 and I didn't know what people were saying about me behind my back about the whole Instagram thing, and my best friend messaged me and said that she was moving schools. She said that she wasn't happy at our school and that I'd be okay without her, and I was just like, really? Like, what am I gonna do now? Obviously, I wasn't going to go back to the group that I was also hanging out with where I met the guy I was seeing, because that wouldn't have been a smart move at all. It wasn't until I was walking to my locker one day and someone in my grade yelled out, "Oh my god, it's Instagram famous Samantha Wicks," and everyone burst out into laughter. I never thought of myself as Instagram famous. I never thought of myself as like an Instagram girl. I was just a normal girl at school. The year went on and the rumors grew more. People even went to the extent of saying that they saw me at a party and they saw me like doing all this stuff, when really I was on the Gold Coast for a netball competition that whole week. And that's the thing that really annoyed me in high school. Like, I never drunk in high school, ever, because I was so into sport. And so anyway, we'll get into that story in a second. It was about March of 2014, and the person that I am very close to, not gonna say who, but they lost their job. Once they lost their job, they, you know, tried to look for new jobs and they just couldn't find one, and you know, it really affected how they viewed life, and they started to be depressed. Because they were depressed, they turned to alcohol, and because of some events that happened during that time, I really did not want to try alcohol at all. This person became an alcoholic, and it really affected me. They would turn up to my school drunk and expect me to get in the car with them so they could drive me home. They would try and set a fire in my house, which one time they did, and it was just my brother home, and so that was really scary. They tried to force me to eat raw meat. One night, the person who was an alcoholic, they were in my home and it was just me and my brother. A lot of things happened that night and I don't really want to talk about it, but it ended with me protecting my brother. My brother and I are very, very close. I'm very protective of my brother as well. Like, I protect him with my life. So that night, was quite daunting for me. I was deep down frightened that I was going to turn into what I had seen, and that just completely turned me off the whole idea of drinking. If you are friends with my brother by any chance and you are watching this, please do not speak of this to him. I don't think he would appreciate being spoken to about this. He doesn't really want to talk about it either. After the event, I was, you know, traumatized, I guess you could say. The name calling at school was getting worse. I had people say to my face that I was a prawn, which if you don't know what that is, that means that you have a nice body but a terrible face. It's pretty much them saying that they'd rather you have your head chopped off. Pretty much everyone would say that I had an ugly face, which was quite upsetting for me, because, like, you know, you don't want to be called ugly. The amount of people that said that I have an ugly face, you know, really brought on some insecurities. Like, it got to a point where I didn't want to show my face ever. Like, I wanted to stay inside, never go out, because why would you? I thought that if I went out in public, people would be saying the exact same thing. So, like, whenever I looked at someone in public, I thought that they were saying to themselves, wow, she has such an ugly face. So with all that happening, I started to, you know, be in a bad place, because there was nothing I could do to change what people thought of me, and also to change what was going on at home. I was constantly feeling down about myself, and like, I didn't want to go home ever. Never did I ever want to go home. One night everything got really bad at home and I felt as if I didn't have anyone to talk to, and so I was up all night, you know, like crying my eyes out about everything that had been going on. The next morning I had school training, and so I had to be at school at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was so tired and so drained about everything that had been happening. My teacher slash coach, she was trying to give me like this instruction, and I refused to listen. I was just like, I don't want to listen. I don't want to be here. She then had a go at me, and normally when a teacher has a go at me, I just kind of accept it and go, yeah, whatever. But this time I snapped. I said a lot of things that I shouldn't have said, and I regret saying a lot of things that I said. I should never have said that stuff to a teacher. After training, I got dressed, went to my classroom, and my homeroom teacher said, Sam, can you go to this teacher's office, which was the teacher that I just had a go at. Keep in mind that at this time I had isolated myself from pretty much everyone. I went to her classroom, and she said, Sam, wait outside for me. So I did, and she came outside and she looked at me, and I was expecting like this massive rant, like a massive why would you do such a thing, and you know, that kind of basic teacher stuff. I didn't look at her once. I was looking down at the ground the whole time, and then suddenly she says, are you okay? And you know the saying when like someone says it, like if someone asks if you're okay and like you break down immediately, that actually happened to me at that moment. I broke down. I bawled my eyes out. I didn't say anything, I just broke down, and she immediately knew that something was going on and she didn't know what it was. So she took me back into the classroom once all the students were gone. I opened up to the teacher, I told her everything, and she was quite worried about my mental state. I was depressed. Like, I was very, very depressed. It got to about 5 o'clock at night, and I didn't go home because I was so sick and tired of what was going on at home with the alcohol. I thought that I should just not go home. I was in a state of mind that I thought no one actually cared about how I felt, or not even my family cared about how I felt, when really my family obviously do. At 6 o'clock, I got out my phone, as I hadn't checked it in a long time, and I had 20 missed calls from my mum. Not only that, but I had emails from teachers and messages from some people at school. Turns out the teacher that I had a go at school, she messaged my parents about what had happened during the day, and my mum got really worried. Mum messaged the teacher back saying that I hadn't come home, and then she messaged all these people that I went to school with being like, are you with Sam? Like, where is she? I'm really worried about her. And so I thought it'd be best to call her and, you know, explain that I was okay and she didn't have to worry, but instead I got a massive lecture and she forced me to come home. I walked to my house and I went straight to my room. I didn't acknowledge anyone in the house. I just went straight to my bed and bawled my eyes out. My mum then walks in and she's ready to, you know, rip my throat out pretty much, and then she realizes how upset I actually am. I bawled into tears even more. I don't think I've ever cried so much in my life. I told her what people were saying about me at school, how I'm a slut, how I'm a bitch, how I'm an alcoholic, how I do drugs, blah blah blah. I also told her that I wasn't over what happened at home. In fact, I was quite traumatized about what happened at home, and like, you know, I kept having flashbacks. Like, it was ridiculous. I just could not get over it. I'm trying so hard to not cry right now. After this massive chat I had with my mum, I think she was actually quite worried about what was happening. I was forced to go to the counsellor. I didn't really have a choice. I eventually started to be a bit more positive with my life, and I learned to ignore what people were saying at school. I decided to try and turn my life around and maybe open up to some people that I hadn't before, and I ended up being a part of this new group of girls. I don't think we were ever really close, but I at least had people to go to if something happened again. So at the end of 2014, I was actually quite happy again, and I was feeling the best I had felt in so long. I just like to add though, when I say depression, I never self-harmed myself. I never thought of committing suicide. I never got to that extent, but I was upset a lot of the time, and I'd never smile. I'd never be happy. I was just always upset. I had been named things, I had been accused of things that I didn't even do all through high school, and to be honest, I don't care anymore. The most important thing is what you know about yourself and what you take pride in, and I wish I knew this sooner. I mean, of course, I still would have been upset about what happened at home, but I wouldn't have been so scared of opening up to people. I was judged for things that I didn't even do all through high school. So being judged for things that I actually did do, I was terrified. I was terrified to open up to people. I have the most amazing people in my life. No doubt. They are truly amazing. I mean, I have this amazing family at home who have fought through everything that I've had to fight through with the whole alcohol thing. I have amazing people in my life that I can now turn to that I never really had. And on top of that, I have an amazing family on my YouTube, which is you guys. So if you're wondering, well, I am happy now, and I am the happiest I have ever been. I just want you guys to realize from this video that yeah, we go through tough times, but things do get better, and you have amazing people around you to support you. You may not realize it, but you do. I mean, I wish I knew that sooner, because I would have saved myself a hell of a lot of pain. But I hope you somewhat enjoyed getting to know the real me. I love you guys so much, and please do not feel hesitated to send me a message if you are going through something, because I love helping people. I love helping you through things that you think isn't possible to get through. I hope you have an amazing day, and I shall see you next week. I cannot believe I got through that whole video without crying. That was intense.